Happening now on Grid Tonight. Since Christian Horner was cleared from an internal Red Bull investigation, there's been more information that has come out. What will happen as the distraction continues to take away from the sport? Saudi Arabia is gearing up for a potential second Formula One race in the country. Are they deserving of another Formula One Grand Prix? Hello to all our viewers watching here in the United States and around the world. Welcome to Grid Tonight, your weekly motorsports news program. I'm Kobe Lambert, and with me is Joshua Birch and Matt White from Grid Endurance Performance Index. We encourage everyone to comment in the chat, ask questions, and support us through Super Chat. Grid Network just passed 950 subscribers. Please subscribe today and help us reach the special milestone of 1,000 subscribers ASAP. We're almost there, guys, so please tell your friends, share, take the link to our YouTube channel, share it around, tell people to subscribe so we can get there. We're almost there. We've been working at this for several years now, and it will be so wonderful to get to 1,000 by the end of the month of March. And now, Josh, take it away with our top story this evening. Been so many things happening in the Formula One world. I wake up every morning now checking my phone thinking, what now? What's next?
I physically had to lie down at one point. It was all too much. And hello, everyone. Nice to be back. And great job, YouTube, by the way, with the show last week. We can thank FOM for putting a scheduled session at 6:55 a.m., meaning I had to be up at 4 a.m. To get everything set up in the box, which means I couldn't be on last week. This week, however, yes, it's the same Thursdays, but a little bit of a nicer schedule with a 10 a.m. start for F2. But as the guys were saying on last week's episode of Grid Tonight, we reported how Red Bull cleared team principal Christian Horner of any wrongdoing in an official statement regarding inappropriate behavior towards a female employee. However, after the statement was released, alleged evidence was leaked to the F1 CEO, FIA president, F1 team principals, and to members of the media. Now, media outlets, including Grid Network, have yet to independently verify the validity of the evidence. Then, after the Bahrain Grand Prix, Jos Verstappen has told the Daily Mail, that Horner needed to step down for the good of the team. The link to all of this articles is in the video description below. Now, Max's dad said the team is in danger of being torn apart. It can't go on the way it is. It will explode. He is playing the victim when he is causing the problems. Max spoke out earlier today on the situation, saying he intends to stay with Red Bull and doesn't see any reason to leave the team as long as they continue to perform. However, he'd much rather talk about the competition side of things instead of focusing on this particular story, the photo taken there by Clive Ross from Getty Images. Well, gents, we've seen Red Bull team members remain quiet and the drivers not directly say they support Horner keeping the role, but when the father of the three-time world champion says he needs to go, how much weight does that actually carry?
I think it carries a lot of weight. That's exactly why Max Verstappen, had to basically try to distance himself from his father's comments today, because I know a lot of people like to assume, be like, if my mother or father is saying this, then you automatically think, then I guess Max Verstappen might be thinking the same thing about Christian Horner. But Max, obviously, wants to focus on what's going on the track instead of what's happening off the track. But this is clearly becoming a major distraction. I was really shocked to see Max's father make these comments. And interestingly enough, Lewis Hamilton also commented on the situation. Said, I was reading an article earlier today on motorsport.com. Lewis said, things get kind of, interesting when parents get involved in situations. And he feels like that when your parents are involved, you can kind of go down a slippery slope. And Lewis Hamilton and his dad, they used to be closely involved in racing with his dad helping manage his career, but it obviously took a toll on their relationship. So Lewis and his dad, decided, to just have strictly a father and son relationship instead of, instead of having the business side of things, tear them apart. So I understand where Lewis Hamilton is coming from when he's saying that, things, it may get, really hard in those situations when your father becomes involved. It might have been better for Max's dad, to keep his mouth shut and not necessarily, say anything on this subject, but it definitely speaks volumes, that he decided to make all of these comments about the team is in danger of being torn apart. It can't go on the way it is. It could explode, and then accuse Christian Horner of playing the victim when he is the one causing all the problems. This situation, continues to spiral out of control.
isn't Formula One really boring when the cars are going round? Otherwise, it's absolute fireworks everywhere, as we're going to get to throughout the show tonight. This is like we've got Jos and Max, and then the team, and there's like a divorce kind of proceedings going to be going on here. It's a very strange situation for the drivers to be in, as you said, Josh, that they've not, even Max or Sergio haven't commented really on the situation at all, apart from, we're focusing on the driving and the weekend, and they've said similar things today. Of course, everything's great, absolutely, Matthew, with the Carl Busch line. Everything is great. We'll get to more of it shortly. But they're playing the party line, and I guess that's probably the best thing for it at this stage, while the allegations of allegedly, let's put it that way, wrongdoing are still up in the air. As I said on, I think I may have said it on social media, and certainly said it during our Cup coverage of the NASCAR race when we did a brief chat about this at the weekend, me, Matthew, and Joe. You're either on the side of Christian and he's done nothing wrong if you're a Red Bull fan, but if you're not a Red Bull fan, he's done nothing wrong. He's done everything wrong. And he needs to go. There doesn't seem to be any clarity in this situation at all, and this is what we need now with this and what we've got coming up shortly in our second story tonight, involving even more higher ups than Christian Horner. But the power struggle is going to be going on. All the fireworks are going to be going off, and we need some clarity on this. And the fact that was it Friday it came out, wasn't it? I think, or Thursday. I can't remember now. It's been such a crazy weekend with the schedule being all over the place. On Friday, when all the WhatsApp stuff got dropped on us, nobody said straight away that it wasn't real. We don't want to make a comment at this time, da da da. If it wasn't real, just say, and then it's done with, isn't it? If it was a fake, which obviously a lot of people jumped to the conclusions on the first screenshot that kind of went everywhere. We at Grid Network have, thankfully, for some context that we've got, managed to see the whole thing, which a lot of people haven't seen yet. It doesn't look good. If that is real, it does not look good for him. Really does not look good. So we wait to see what happens. I'm sure it's going to be talked about across the coverage on the weekend of the race. Of course, we've got practice and whatnot starting tomorrow. So just another strange situation that F1 seems to keep finding itself in. But as I said at the very top, it's really boring when the cars are going around.
And it's a Red Bull dominating there as well. It's 12 hours until the first practice session. I doubt we're still going to be talking about this going forward. Anna says, what a tangled web we weave. It really has been. And hi, Josh. Hi, Omi, as well out there. But yeah, it's very much like that Frank Drebin from Police Squad. Everything's okay. Nothing to see here. All's okay. It's an absolute mess. And yeah, they need to sort of come out and say if that email was correct and if it's factual, because we've got to be very careful what we say, obviously, as well, because it's still redacted to an extent. But all we can comment for certain is that email went to every team principal, the head of the FIA, the head of FOM, and 500 permanently passed media people. Now, first of all, I'm not a permanent press, so I didn't get it, but we all got the link afterwards. But that for someone to have that many emails indicates it's sort of hard to fake, because not everybody can get the email. So the longer they delay on this, the longer they keep saying, oh, well, we're not making a comment this time, we're not doing any of this, that, the other, the worse it's getting for Formula One. And the days that have followed, it's every morning it's just a little bit worse, with more and more coming out, and then more and more coming out by other people as well. Now, Kobe has done the script here, and he's done absolutely brilliantly. I've got to praise him here, because he's put a timeline of events together of what we can confirm has happened so far. So on February the 5th, Red Bull Racing's parent company, GmbH, confirms Horner is under investigation following an accusation of inappropriate behavior. On February the 9th as well, Horner is questioned by a lawyer in charge of the investigation. There is no immediate resolution. Joe's also, Kobe's just put in the chat here that Joe deserves credit for that, not me as well. Both of you do amazing on these scripts, so I'll thank Joe as well. Now, so yeah, that's February 9th. Horner was questioned, no immediate resolution. February the 15th, Horner appears at Red Bull's car launch, his first public appearance since news of the allegations emerged. February 18th, F1 makes its first public comment calling for Horner's future to be clarified at the earliest opportunity. February the 20th, Horner flies to Bahrain for 3 days of testing before the new season. February 21st, Horner is on the pit wall and tells Sky Sports, within the team, the unity has never been stronger. But Toto Wolff said, an issue for all of Formula One. On February the 22nd, Horner and 4 other F1 team principals appear in a press conference. He refuses to comment on the investigation, but says everybody would like a conclusion as soon as possible. On February the 23rd, Max Verstappen says it will be nice for everyone when the investigation into Horner is concluded. Ford sent a letter dated February 23rd demanding a resolution of expressing displeasure as their values are non-negotiable. Now, February 28th, Red Bull GmbH announces the independent investigation into the allegations against Mr. Horner is complete, and Red Bull can confirm that the grievance has been dismissed. February 29th, the leaked email is released containing 79 documents, including photos, videos, and screenshots of WhatsApp messages. On March the 2nd, Red Bull get a 1-2 finish at Bahrain, and Jos Verstappen's comments came out. Take a breath. That's just Red Bull. That is literally just Red Bull. Add in anything else that has happened, that is just one story from Red Bull. Now, Formula One has exploded in popularity in the last few years, attracting new sponsors, media attention, and a very diverse fan base. According to Business Insider, nearly 40% of F1 fans are female as well. Many of our team now at Grid Network as well are new upcoming female journalists as well that we have pleasure to work with as well, and are some of the best in the business. Now, considering the letter from Ford, could Red Bull's partnership with the Blue Oval be in jeopardy if Horner does indeed remain as team principal?
Well, again, it goes back to my point and what you just said, Josh. The clarity issue needs to be aligned here. You know, it was such a big story when the Ford news broke in the summer. I can't even remember when that was now, at some point last year, when Ford were coming back to Formula One after such a long hiatus to team up with Red Bull powertrains, of which Christian Horner is, of course, the boss of that too, and come back into Formula One. Now, you know, they've said their piece, and all of what you've said in that rundown, and again, props to Kobe and to Joe for making the timeline up for us, so it's a clear thing. That was all said and done before Thursday. Now, as we said on the show last week, Christian had, you know, the investigation had been gone through and he was cleared of any wrongdoing. The person behind this, on the other end of the scale, clearly went, really? Are you sure? Have some of this. And threw that at all the journalists and went, cleared? Yes, take some of that. See what you make of this one. So, again, it's a process. It's now, what, a week? Give or take, will be tomorrow. By the time I wake up, it'll be a week since all this came out, and we're still no further forward with it. If this was, you know, some company that no one had ever heard of, and this was going on behind closed doors, this would have been probably dealt with by now in a HR proceeding, and it's still rumbling on in the public eye and at the very forefront of it. And we saw the smiling Mrs. Horner at the weekend when her husband's team got the 1-2. So they're putting on the bravest of faces. And I think for Ford's point, if this rumbles on any longer than, if we get to Melbourne in that's 2 weeks from the weekend and it's still up in the air, then we really need to question and they'll be doing it themselves in the board meetings at Ford. They will be questioning what would they do with their future in Formula One.
And got a comment here from my own Ben Snyder saying you're not rooting for it, but you fear that Formula One is about to crash and burn. And you think, to be honest, you can make a case that maybe they deserve it. Yeah, Formula One, they're going through quite a time right now. And when you talk about crash and burn, it seems like, you know, that's the path that they're headed on, because all of the press right now about Formula One, it's not good at all. You have the Horner stuff, and then you had the Mohammed bin Sulayem stuff, which we're going to talk about at the end of this segment. But I have a feeling, like you're saying, Matt, if this continues to linger on and on, I think Ford is going to have even more leverage than they do right now. They can either be like, Christian Horner, you need to step down, for the good of the team and the future partnership between Red Bull and Ford, or you can stay on, we can leave. Yeah, because it would not be a good thing for Red Bull if Ford decides, to discontinue their partnership. And I have a feeling the longer this goes on, there's going to be a lot more pressure on Christian Horner to resign. And this situation, is like I was saying, it was just really spiraling out of control. And as we head into a new race weekend, now I'm wondering what's going to happen next. Are we going to get even more information coming out about this situation? Because it's just a really messy situation that's going on right now, and we really do need to get a lot more clarity about what's going on.
Definitely rumours of a power play going around as well. And Josh, you're excited so much for commentary this weekend? So much. 8 series. So much. Especially as I can't actually see the entirety of IndyCar. I've got to go away after about 20 minutes to cover MotoGP. Who did that? NBC broadcasts MotoGP as well. And I'm not great over there in the States.
Not for too much longer.
I know. Come on, Warner Brothers, get it away from them. I remember when we both commentating the email stories first announced during FP2, we spent the last 30 minutes in it. We did, yeah. Me and Amy were commentating, and we all got that email, and it was like, so we were just on our phones trying to find it for 30 minutes as well. Nothing was happening on the track. So someone came in the comments and says, thrilling conversation this, you're not just looking at your phones. It's like, yeah, because news is just exploded in the paddock behind. It's like, we've got to find out what's going on so we can tell the viewers. It was insane. And there is rumours of a power struggle going around in Formula One. It looks like the Austrian-backed side with not Dieter Behnken, who is it? Dietrich Mateschitz, who passed away. His son now has controlling group over the Austrian side of it, but the Thai owners also want to buy in. So ever since Mataschitz's death, there's now a 3-way power struggle in Red Bull. Verstappen want one side of things as well for their own F1 deal. The Thai owners want one side as well as Christian Horner, and then the Austrians want the other with Mateschitz and Helmut Marko. So there's a 3-way pull going, and Red Bull's just crumbling around it. It's getting exciting in terms of finding out exactly what's happening, because the longer this goes on, the longer this is actually going to be detrimental towards Red Bull as well. And Matt, you did mention about Jerry Horner there as well. She actually took a private jet into Bahrain for the Sunday, and then they made the thing of hand in hand walking through the paddock. Yeah.
He had a photo op.
Yeah. The kiss scene around the world, of course, after the race. And then my personal favourite during the podium ceremony, which was Christian Horner with Jerry up at the podium like that, literally just stone-faced. And then Christian, hand like that on her stomach, holding her in, just looking at Max. But then the entire Red Bull facility behind staring at them in what looked like anger. I could not believe it as well. There is definitely turmoil in that team. They're not unified. Final thing before we move on as well. One thing though, GP came on the radio as well and said to Max, "Oh, great job, great win, and then great pole." And then Max was like, "Yes, get in team, well done. Yes, we did it. Well done, brilliant way to start the year." Christian Horner, well done, Max. Christian, yeah.
Yes.
And Max, yeah. And then Max said, "Yep, well done, good job, everybody in the team."
And
immediate
the same for
low.
Checo as well.
Yeah, immediate low from them both. Now, for me, that sort of solidified the Max and Jos, the tension between them, because Max's body language changed immediately. And we're getting on to Mohammed Ben Sulayem. Andrew Benson reporting that Mohammed Ben Sulayem asked 3 times for Max Verstappen to come out and publicly support Christian Horner. Max denied every single time. So there's that to go in as well. And I wonder why Mohammed Ben Sulayem, a former Red Bull rally driver, might be, involved in this case. But we move on, because after the Bahrain Grand Prix, everybody did say that Max Verstappen and Red Bull would walk away with the championship in both the drivers and the constructors once again. However, this is now being overshadowed by the dark cloud hanging above their heads. Heading into Saudi Arabia, nobody's really talking about what's happening on the track as the off-track drama continues to dominate the headlines. Simple question now from all this chaos. Could this distraction hurt Red Bull's on-track performance and open the door for other teams to take advantage in this turmoil?
Well, at the end of the day, Josh, I still think this Red Bull car is just so strong that they'll still continue to win races. I think Max Verstappen's still going to easily walk away with this year's championship, and Red Bull take the constructors. But I think the big issue is, I think that is really that it could start to hurt if it hasn't already. I think it already has to a certain degree already. Hurt the morale within the team. A lot of frustration with what's going on. I think it could start impacting everything that's happening inside the team, but not necessarily what's going on the racetrack. And if it does, I like you're saying, I expect the teams to definitely take advantage of the turmoil going on. But I still think that Max Verstappen is still going to be able to win all these races. But it's certainly it might be a lot harder, for everyone in the team if Christian Horner continues to stay on as the team principal.
Yeah, I don't disagree, Kobe. What I want to happen on Saturday, it won't, because he's going to win by 15, 20 seconds again like he did at the weekend. But I want, like we had a couple of years ago with the Hamilton race, and it was a close race, and Max will win. And then Christian will come on the radio at the end of, to put your point before, and I'll go, yeah, well done, Max, great. Yeah, brilliant drive, da-da-da. And he'll just go, yeah, thanks, Christian. And then, the tension will still be there, and the photo ops and stuff will still happen. We know Jos is not going to be at the race this weekend because he's got, well, it depends who you believe. He's either got a clashing rallying commitment or he's been asked to stay away. Well, depends who you believe, but it sounds like he is doing a rally, or was that just consequential? But I don't think it'll phase them. And as we've seen from the last couple of Saudi races, if you get out front, you're probably going to stay out front because it pretty much is one continuous corner, and no one can overtake at the street track that is Jeddah. So more on that in a minute, but more on past Jeddah races, I think, to come in our next segment of news.
We rewind the clock. Now, we did mention about Mohammed bin Salman and dramas, and he's got more drama, I'm afraid. He just can't keep away, can he? This supposedly new era FIA president who was going to have a completely open door and complete clarity and have no at all dramas involved in any Formula One after Abu Dhabi 21. Oh no, we're just exploding even more, are we? Because drama relating to the FIA president Mohammed bin Salman, because according to Andrew Benson from BBC Sport, a whistleblower came forward with allegations that Salim stepped in to overturn a penalty given to Fernando Alonso at last year's Saudi Arabia Grand Prix. Now, you might remember this because he had a 5-second time penalty, and then the team actually touched the car during that 5 second. That resulted in a 10-second post-race penalty converted into a 30-second time penalty post-race. That kicked him off the podium. Now, he's also in hot water for allegedly telling officials not to certify the Las Vegas street circuit as well. The link to all of this is in the video description as well. Now, between predictability at the front of the field, a super long season, and new scandals that seem to keep up every single day we turn on our mobile phones, is F1 losing its way? And how much damage is this doing to the sport?
I mean, I don't know where to go with this, because you think the Red Bull thing is the only thing that's going on, and then we get this bombshell on Monday after the race from the weekend. So yeah, to just recap, so Alonso had a 5-second penalty over his head last year in the Grand Prix, which they come into the pit. If not, people not familiar, you can serve your penalties in pit stops. You come into your pit bay and you sit for the allotted time, and then the guys can touch the car. And they touched it with the front jack from memory too early, and then carried on with the pit stop. And then, as you said, Josh, the penalty got added on. The Aston Martin team are sponsored by, that's right, Aramco, the big Saudi backer at their race. So it does make sense. And my first thought when this came out was, look, another race fixing problem with Fernando Alonso involved. Where have we heard that before?
3 times now.
3?
Germany.
Yeah.
Germany.
Felipe's faster. Alonso is faster than you. I've forgotten about that one, but yeah, okay, we'll go. He's got the hat trick then.
Hungary, 07.
That was quality. Yeah. It just seems to be, doesn't it? So we've got this now, this whole MBS thing. And what have we talked about every week on the show pretty much since we came back after the new year? Andretti falling over. Just before Christmas, we had Stefano and MBS at loggerheads over multiple things. Then we've got this Las Vegas thing. Bring back John Todd. He didn't do anything. All he was after was
bad now, is he?
All he was after, John Todd, was his Nobel Peace Prize for road safety. He really didn't give a toss about Formula One racing when he was the boss of the FIA. All he was after was his one thing, and he just didn't get involved. And that's just what we need again now. Here we go. What we got?
I have gone back and I have got the steward's decision, the right of appeal document. Can I find that? From last year's Saudi Arabian Grand Prix.
Oh, well done.
I've gone back and let's have a read because I'm interested. I don't think anyone's done this yet. Why they said it. Now, this is what they said. The stewards received a letter dated 19th of March 2023 from Aston Martin and Aramco Continental Formula One team with a petition for a review, blah, blah, blah. I'm having a read of it through now. The clear submission by the team was that the alleged representative of an agreement between the FIA and the teams that touching the car in any way, including with the jack, would constitute working on the car for the purpose of Article 54.4c of the sporting regulations was incorrect, and therefore the basis of the stewards' decisions were wrong. In light of the petition, the stewards had decided if there was a significant and relevant new element that was discovered unavailable during the parties during the initial time the decision was concerned, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, basically, having reviewed the video evidence presented and having heard from the team representative Aston Martin and the relevant members from the FIA, and the relevant members from the FIA, that's the interesting bit. The stewards determined that that doesn't just say race stewards. Usually it does. Usually it says the race stewards in question at the meeting. But all it says here, and relevant members from the FIA. The stewards determined that there did exist significant and relevant new evidence as required under Article 14.1.1 to trigger a review. Having reviewed the new evidence, we have concluded that there was no clear agreement, as was suggested to the stewards previously, that they could be relied upon to determine that parties had agreed that a jack touching a car would amount to working the car without more. Interesting. And in the circumstances, we consider that original decision to impose a penalty on car 14 needed to be reversed, and we did so accordingly. So, apparently, I did think it was fishy at the time. Touching the car with the jack doesn't count as working on it, but it's lifting the car up. And to me, that's a workout. If you're on the bar, yeah. Usually it does say the stewards at the meeting, members from the FIA.
Yeah. Many fish in this bowl.
Yeah.
But to my point I was getting to, the Stefano stuff, the MBS stuff, and now the Horner stuff, it's all coming in this way, isn't it? The powder keg of the FIA versus Formula One is just bubbling away and simmering nicely, and you feel that next time there's some kind of flashpoint, whether it be this weekend or at Melbourne or at Monaco or at Monza later in the year, bang, there's going to be a big problem on our hands, I feel like, and we need huge clarity on all of these things. The Andretti stuff now seems, fishier and fishier by the day now that this has come out. Don't forget the FIA approved Andretti.
FOM didn't.
FOM did not, and Stefano Domenicali and Formula One management did not. So it is an absolute mess, and we just need people to come forward and say yes, no, true, false, not. We cannot comment on this at this time because we're going to get more of that this weekend, I feel like. And I just want this weekend to hopefully go through smoothly without penalties, dramas, clashes. I mean, we're going to have that because we generally do have it at Saudi Arabia, especially on the first lap, as we saw a couple of that last year. I feel like I was going to crash on the first lap. But and of course, who can forget a couple of years ago, the Max and Lewis DRS messing about stuff and the brake checking stuff. But let's please get through this weekend without more powder keg drama.
Kobe, what do you make of it all?
I don't really have much more to add because I think you guys have pretty much said it all here. But to answer the question that you asked, Josh, I do think Formula One is losing its way quite a bit, kind of losing the plot of the story because it was supposed to be a story, but this is turning into a complete soap opera of a whole bunch of crazy things going on, and I think it's definitely going to turn off a lot of people, especially here in America. When Formula One decided not to approve Andretti, I think that already turned off quite a bit of people. And now you have all of this going on, and I think it's only going to further continue to turn off people from Formula One. So for their sake, I hope that they can get their acts together and try to get the sport in a better place. But I remember, Josh, last year you were the one who predicted that the FIA and Formula One were on the brink of a civil war, and it seems like we might already be in the early stages of that based on how things are going, because it's just insane what's going on.
Can you tell me the Euro Millions numbers, Josh, for Friday, please?
Yes, I can. 14, 21, 6. Do you want a bonus ball?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I just say it's fitting though. Take your pick for whatever you like, given all the insanity going on right now.
Yeah.
Oh, I tell you what, if it gets any worse, Billy Joel will be writing a song about us. That's all I'm saying. It's getting so bad out there. All I can think is you tell me over and over again, we're on the edge of destruction.
As Elton would say, so sad, so sad. It's a sad, sad situation.
Oh, I'm not going to say anything about Christian Horners, but I've got one that is in my head. Well, another way to spice up your life.
Hey.
That's good. Sticking with Formula One. I've done my button now. There we go. Right, sticking with Formula One, with the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix taking place this weekend, there's already talks about a second F1 race in the country. Now, as you can see in this graphic right here, race organisers have released a rendering of what the track, this 21-turn track, would be built at the new, is it Qiddiya? It isn't it? The Qiddiya City Development, which is close to Riyadh as well, which hosts the Formula E round of the championship. Now, the Saudi government's plans to make the Qiddiya city the home of multiple entertainment and tourism attractions, such as theme parks, concerts, esports, and of course, racing. Now, if you've been blind and haven't seen the basic adverts that we've been having, F1 drivers Fernando Alonso and Nico Hulkenberg are among those who've already endorsed the new track for the future. Well, if Aramco was a title sponsor of Formula One, the Saudi government probably having, something over the back of you as well. And to be honest, all the identical social media uploads praising the new circuit sums up everything wrong with F1 and motorsports right now. Saudi propaganda, sports washing. Ed Hunter, you took the words right on my mind as well. It does seem a bit, this is the best track in the world. We want you to race here. I just find it ironic that a country that's famous for beheadings and, of course, butchering journalists, that the first corner, which is, 108 something stories high, 20 something like that, it's called the Blade.
Yeah. I knew Ed would be all over this story. Bottas has done the same. I think it's just those three, isn't it? I think Hulkenberg, Bottas, and of course Fernando, the Aramco sponsor.
Motorsport.com have done it as well.
Well, they also have tie-ins with PIF or Saudi or somewhere along the line. I didn't realise this was going to be a second race in Saudi. We may as well have the Formula One Middle East Championship because
the Eastern world is but exploding
at the moment. But yeah, the race at Jeddah, I was struggling to remember where we were this weekend, was never supposed to be permanent on the street track. It's not a street track. None of that track is used as public road. I thought this was going to be moving to Riyadh, but if they're going to keep it as a second race, then okay, of course, we're going to have 70 races a year in Formula One at some point soon. So we may as well just keep adding them on. But the Blade is going to be. It'll look like the Singapore hotel with the swimming pool on the top, but that's going to have the racetrack on it. Was the first thing I saw when I saw the other rendering that got released today. But of course, this all comes out today off the back of all of the other stories we've talked about already, to continue to brush that out of the way. And look at what we've got, this shiny new thing over here.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, not the greatest, is it? Let's go to a country with appalling human rights, and we've got appalling rights in Formula One right now. Let's shove another racetrack on top. It's like that scene from Jurassic Park when you all walk up and just the pile is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Oh God, I never thought I'd say this in my life, but I miss Bernie Ecclestone and I miss Max Mosley, and that's something. I never ever thought I'd say that, but whew, blimey, them two make it look at running Formula One like a piece of cake. Now, last night on the Grid live round table, it produced many fun, memorable moments with Kobe, Jackson Lambros, Ben Schneider, and Alex Anderson as well. We highly encourage you to all watch their IndyCar prediction show as well. You will not be disappointed as well. We have a lot of fun here at Grid Network as well. And since Matt and I weren't on the show, we'll take a few minutes to share our predictions. However, it will be hard to top that hot takes from last night from Alex and Jackson. And all the walks off. So let's just start it right now.
That's Josh's hot take on IndyCar. What's going to happen this weekend? What's going to happen in the season? Well, Scott Dixon will be a force because he always is, even though he's 175 years old and still going strong. I'm looking forward to the race at St. Pete because it always produces a good race this weekend. Scott McLaughlin has got some redemption after the clash last year with Roman Grosjean, so I'm hoping for Scotty that he can come out on top and get that win back that he kind of lost last year. But I mean, there's so much that could happen in IndyCar, and to use a Murray Walker line it normally does. It's going to be another cracking season, I think, Josh. We've got 12, 14 drivers that potentially could win a race throughout the year. Penske, McLaren, Ganassi will all be strong. We've got the Honda kind of bubbling thing. Talk about Formula One with things bubbling away in the background, but the Honda thing bubbling away in the IndyCar background as well. We've got Callum Ilott back this weekend, replacing the injured David Malukas for at least this race at St. Pete. So lots of things to be excited about in IndyCar, and most of the cars have got different colours on, unlike all the Formula One cars that are mostly black.
I do think we're going to have a great year. I'm being a bit negative, but I'm really worried about this hybrid system that's coming in after the 500. Don't like how that's been sort of just shoehorned in. That doesn't, to me, feel like it's going to be good. That could be a very low point. I think the Indy 500 is going to be a bust because I think they're going to try and implement this mandatory starter. So we're going to lose some of the specialty. The race itself might be great, but the feeling goes a bit like when we had the split with the 25-8. So not great. I don't know how the thermal club's going to go. I think that's wrong. If we're going to have this thermal club, let's have it as a race because you're putting it as round 2 of the season. You're not doing what NASCAR does and has the clash. If we had the clash, but we had thermal club as before St. Pete for the $1 million rush, that's a great way to get exposure for the championship, show off the new cars, do a proper shakedown, get it out there, get new fans in. Brilliant, bit of fun. To do it after race 1 is a bit mental. It doesn't make sense because it's like, well, you just opened the season and now you're going to go risk for $1 million. What? But the big tick this year, ovals. So many ovals. Brilliant. That's going to be it. And only one road course race at Indy road course. Thank God for that. No more the 2 or the 3 and having to talk about nothing because the Brickyard is back for the 400, which means it's normal. I can't wait. And I guarantee now, Brickyard's going to be better than the Indy 500.
There's a call. The Brickyard 400 is going to be well. We'll see. It's been pretty exciting Indy 500s over the last couple of years, so there's a big call there. Yeah, I don't disagree with you about Thermal Club. We talked about it at the time. Why not have another championship round in that big gap between St. Pete and Long Beach is round 2 from memory off the top of my head. So why we couldn't have gone to Homestead, why we couldn't have put Barber in there on the way to Long Beach. I know it's on the way back afterwards, but yeah, well, money talks is another song reference for the evening. Money talks. And I mean, IndyCar goes rallycross because we've got heats and all sorts of things there, and it's on at 10 a.m. local time, which is very, very, or whatever silly time of day it is, very strange. Adam agrees with you, and I also agree with you that we do miss Bernie.
Oh, Brian, and Tony George. Wait, hang on. We missed Tony George? Are we going that far, then? We're going that far.
Fastest 33, hashtag.
Blimey. 81 days
We
into
need
the
to-
Indianapolis 500-mile race, 137 to the Brickyard. We all know
We
which
need
one
to
he's
keep-
he wants.
We need to keep that in the 500 qualifying as it has always been. That is one of the best things of that whole qualifying deal. It's perfect. It doesn't need to be touched, especially now we've got the fast 6 on the Sunday as well, the pole runoff. I just think it doesn't need to be tampered with. And don't forget that this is now a Roger Penske owned place and series. And who was the main opposers to this when it came in last time? Oh, that's right, Roger Penske.
Well,
he was involved in this when it tried to come in before.
He's just changing it, of course. We're gonna have standardized races, of course. Orange juice in Victory Lane, of course, all that lot. It's all going to be good. I mean, he changed Victory. He changed Victory Lane. What the hell? He changed it. He put it on a bloody podium. It's lost all its meaning.
Oh, that was the point.
I don't like it. I don't like it. I would much rather them be at the bottom of the podium, everyone around, milk everywhere, not on a bloody podium. It's just, I can understand it during COVID, but it's not COVID anymore. Just give me 5 minutes. Give me 5 minutes with Roger Penske. Just 5. Just 5. And we'll settle all this out as well. As Gordon Shedden once said on a commentary, taken into a dark room, all that lot. Anyway, Indy 500 was still be the greatest spectacle of racing. Well, unless you're Formula One, which keeps whinging on that copyright. Very close as well. It never fails. I mean, it's literally wheels out smashing, isn't it, compared to last year? And Helio Castroneves will win it. Yeah, right. We're cutting you off now.
The drive for 5 is still alive, folks.
5 for 5. The fight for 5. That's what it was all going for. Anyway, let's hand over to you, Matt, as well, because you've got the latest from the Grid player update. Please tell me it's normal.
It was quite normal, although it did happen in the Middle East.
Okay. Everything does.
Because another World Championship started in the Middle East at the weekend, not just Formula One, it was the WEC, the World Endurance Championship, which, of course, clashed with the Grand Prix on Saturday for reasons unknown to man. But we got the first race of the season underway in Qatar at Losail, where MotoGP will be this weekend. More on that later. And Porsche finally get their first win in the World Endurance Championship in this new rule set. Toyota have finally been overturned. The win going to Kevin Estre, Andre Lotterer, and Lawrence Van Voor. It was a Porsche 1-2-3 with the 2 Hertz Team Toyota privateer cars second and third. Heartbreak for Peugeot when Nico Müller ran out of petrol with 2 laps to go while running in second position after a really strong run. So that is a shame. All of the cars have been air freighted out of Qatar so that they don't have any problem getting back for Imola, which is the week after Sebring. So not too long to wait for round 2 of WEC. In GT3, which was the new GT class for this year, the first race for them, that was also won by Porsche. Joel Strom, Alex Malikin, and Klaus Backler getting the victory. This weekend is the penultimate weekend off for the year in the Grid Endurance Performance Index, and I say that in March because it's really going to get kicking off once we get into April when the European season goes. We'll have the first Grid Endurance Performance Week 1 scoreboard on this show on the 3rd of April. So look out for that. But I can tell you that Lawrence Van Voor and Matt Campbell on points as they run at the moment, with still more races to come, are a long, long way ahead of anyone else in the standings, with Van Voor's win at Bathurst last week with Matt Campbell, and then Van Voor winning this weekend at Qatar with Campbell coming 3rd. So those 2 are the early clubhouse leaders in the Grid Endurance Performance Index of 2024. Let's get back to Kobe before we do pick a winner on Hots and Knots, because he's got more headlines from the week.
Thanks, Matt. Time for some more motorsports news from around the world. Airbus Motorsport confirmed what many of us suspected. Bertie Kostecki won't be back in the number 99 Chevrolet for the Grand Prix race weekend in Australia. As you see in the statement here on the screen, Airbus Motorsport says that the Airbus Motorsport remains firmly committed to respecting Brody's privacy, and we're unable to provide further updates at this time. Todd Hazelwood will continue to represent the team in car 99 at the Australian Grand Prix event. We would also like to express that thanks for the support we've received in recent weeks. Your messages mean the world to us. And that right there from Erebus Motorsports. So another week of Todd Hazelwood in that car. IMSA driver Jack Hawksworth will make his NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series debut later this month at Circuit of the Americas. Hawksworth will drive the number 1 Mobil 1 Toyota for Tricon Garage. In 8 years of IMSA competition, the Baxter Sullivan racing driver has 11 class wins, 10 poles, 25 podiums, including championships in GTD Sprint Cup and GTD Pro last year. In 2019, Hawksworth made a start in the Xfinity Series for Joe Gibbs Racing Mid-Ohio, started on the front row that day, won a stage and finished 15th. Now he'll get a shot to show what he can do in the Truck Series race at COTA, graphic courtesy of Tricon Garage. Short track racing star Bubba Pollard will make his NASCAR Xfinity Series debut on March 30th at Richmond Raceway. Pollard will drive the number 88 Chevrolet Ford Junior Motorsports, sponsorship from Ream Manufacturing. The 37-year-old from Georgia has been a household name on short tracks across America for years, and now he finally gets his big break to show what he can do in NASCAR. Pollard has never driven an Xfinity car or raced at Richmond before. In order to prepare for his Xfinity debut, Pollard will enter the ARCA Menard Series East race at Five Flag Speedway on March 23rd, graphic courtesy of Junior Motorsports. And our last story tonight, Ed Jones. He signed with Sam Hunt Racing for 3 NASCAR Xfinity Series races. He'll be behind the wheel of the number 24 Toyota at Circuit of the Americas as a teammate to Sage Karam. So 2 former IndyCar guys are going to be racing a stock car around COTA. Then Jones will make 2 additional starts at Portland and Sonoma. The British driver said he's excited to make his Xfinity debut with TRD and SHR and feels confidence in the program that they have. Graphic courtesy of Sam Hunt Racing. Now I'm going to turn over to Matt for everyone's favorite game. Pick a winner.
More British drivers in NASCAR. That is what we like to see. Yes, it is time for Pick a Winner, and we have an exploded scoreboard, as you can see on screen, because, of course, everyone picked Max Verstappen to win the Bahrain Grand Prix, or pretty much everybody did, at the weekend. Ben is your leader with a 1-point lead on Matt B. Adam in 3rd. Kobe in 4th, the top of our little group here on the show, so he is ruling the roost there. We've got plenty of races to come this weekend, as we've been talking about. Formula One, MotoGP, IndyCar and NASCAR. You can be picks in on social media. The photo of the post, which will be up shortly because I've just recorded the video for it before the show. So Joe will be getting hold of it. It'll be up. You can get your picks in throughout the weekend. We're going to do a couple of them on the show right here, right now. We're going to start on Saturday with the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. It's got to be Max Verstappen, hasn't it? And my P7 pick is going to be Oscar Piastri.
Yeah, and I'm also going with Max Verstappen to win this Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. And P7, give me Fernando Alonso. Josh, who you got?
That was him tonight. Max Verstappen in his hotel room deciding that playing iRacing was more important. So Max for the race, obviously. P7, I'm going to go for Fernando Alonso. After what we're seeing so far with the top 3 teams, I think he's going to be P7 best of the rest.
Max obviously trying out iRacing's new rain mode. MotoGP kicks off at the weekend in Qatar. Don't forget we've got sprint race as well, which is what we're going to do picks for now. Could be wide open. We don't really know where the form guide is. I'm going to throw in the man that won the Grand Prix last year as my sprint race winner, and that is Fabio Di Giannantonio.
That's a good pick right there, Matt. But like you're saying, we don't really know where everyone stands right now. But right now, I believe I'm gonna go with the rider who is a safe pick, who won quite a handful of sprint races. Give me Pecco Bagnaia.
I did all the testing.
It's a Ducati, isn't it?
It's a Ducati. And it's Pecco Bagnaia. But they had the best sprint pace. They had the best race pace. He's good. And I don't think Mark's going to be quite up there just yet. Mark is yet to have an actual crash on this Ducati. He dropped it a little bit in Sepang, but that was literally just like a whoop moment, and then went into the pit lane. And then he stopped on track several times with tech issues. And then in Qatar, he stopped again with fuel running out. So Mark's yet to crash. But I'm going for Bagnaia as a safe bet across the board. Martin hasn't looked good. In fact, the Aprilias have looked better. The factory Aprilias have looked better, not the Trackhouse. So it's anybody's guess outside, but yeah, Bagnaia is the safe bet.
Yeah,
F1.
be sure to. Oh, sorry, I was going to say. Adam says Max, Alonso, and Pecco. Be sure to look out for the pick a winner post, which will be going up shortly on the Grid Network social medias. You can get yourself on the leaderboard. There's still 178 points to play for, and if you can sweep the weekend of both F1 points, both MotoGP points, IndyCar and NASCAR, you'll get a 3-point bonus. So that's 9 points potentially up for grabs for somebody this weekend in the pick a winner scores.
And 29 of them are going to be still Max Verstappen because there's 29 races left.
Ben is going with Verstappen, Piastri, and Pecco as well. So yeah, get your picks in across on social media for pick a winner, and we'll update the scores on the show next week. We didn't do hots and knots last week, Josh, in your absence, but we've got plenty to talk about. What we haven't already talked about. Let's leave all the things we've talked about already as a big knot, and let's focus on hots from the weekend. I've got a couple that I'd like to just roll off here at the top. Zane Maloney in F2 was extremely good at the weekend. Very, very good. Just great to have F2 back. Rallying, if I say the word Onimpoja, might not mean a lot to very many people, but it's back in Rally Finland. It is one of the best pieces of road in the world, and it is back after not being a stage of Rally Finland since 2016. It's going to be on the timetable for this weekend. So that is really, really big news, and the fans will flock to that one. What have you got?
My hots, I think I've got to agree with you. Definitely 110% going for Zane Maloney. Arvin Lindblad did good in the F3, I said as well. That was a quite nice surprise. For Formula One, you've got to praise Adrian Newey and Max Verstappen. Their domination was something just completely different, and I didn't expect that from them. So great job. Spot the sarcasm. But no, they have really taken it back again, and to continue with the new evolution of the car that's on that Red Bull as well, to prove that the no side pods can work. That's just top dollar from Adrian, and great stuff from Max. Outside of everything, that's got to be respected. I think going forward though, with a hot, I really did actually enjoy how sort of calm the ending of the race was, and how it also nice. It flowed nice at the end, didn't it? I mean, it was all sort of, we knew where everybody was. Everybody got to the flag. Good start to the year. Best race start to the season ever. And my ultimate hot, Jeremy Clarkson got to wave the checkered flag and look like a little boy. I loved it. It was great waving that flag. That was like a Jeremy did it.
Matthew Owen says hot the start of the Cup Series season. It's been 6 stars out of 5. Don't definitely agree with that. One other hot that I've got before I read Adams, Carlos Sainz was a hot for me from the weekend because he doesn't care. He's not interested anymore. If that's the way that Carlos Sainz is going to race for the rest of the season until someone signs him up for next year, yes, please.
This is Carlos. Yeah, this is Carlos. Imagine out the screen is Charles Leclerc. Speared into the heart. That's it. Get me out of it.
I am coming through, whether you like it or not. Adam says Raja Karuf winning on Friday night in the Truck Series was hot, and also Carl Larson winning in Vegas. As Josh looking around for more hots. What have you got in terms of not? I've got a couple.
Alpine.
Yes.
What a mess. Bob Bell left this morning. Now, Bob Bell has been with Renault as long as Megan, younger sister, 18 years, alive. Bob Bell is as much as
pillar of that team.
Yeah, he's gone. Alan Permain, gone. Myself now, gone. Alan Prost, gone. Esteban Ocon, Pierre Gasly, sacked. But still, that'll be next.
Not quite yet.
They'll be gone. But what is happening? I mean, our expectations were low, but oh my God, are they bad? Like, they're making Haas look like secondary school. I mean, what?
Yeah, it wasn't good, was it? They were miles away, just slow. and never even like there was the rest of those teams in the sort of midfield. You could have said at some points in the race, oh, they've got a chance of a point here, and they've got a chance but Alpine were just nowhere. Like Williams were up there with Albon for a while. Zhou obviously came through and got some points. But
Haas,
Alpine was bad.
Haas were there. Haas were in the points. They qualified in Q3. Haas, who gave up testing. I just don't know. I mean, I'm looking at my board, and this is a team that finished 6th in the constructors last year. They are now 10th with no points. I mean, Haas aren't either, but still. Sauber, what happened there? They're in a mess. That's a big knot as well. They can't even. They're having split personality disorder. They don't know what they want to be called.
With a lot of the teams on the F1 grid. Talking of Sauber, and back to F2, why are half the grid got green on the cars?
I don't know.
They've all got, suddenly, we've gone from 18 Red Bull coloured cars last year in F2 to everyone's got the luminous kick green going on, it seems like. And it was very hard to decipher who was who for a portion of F2.
I'm just glad I've mastered Tenasipol into Povazak.
Yeah,
honestly,
yes.
So glad.
Yeah. Yes, him. Wheel nuts, not Valtteri Bottas, Darrell Wallace Jr. Both left fronts as well, oddly.
Do you know his time in the pits was actually longer than his pole time at Shakir in 2020? 50.4 to a 50.6.
Nice.
Just a random
and another F1 based knot is the bandwagon jumping of, oh my goodness, it's all over already.
Oh, sorry, that's my fault.
Well, not just you, but everybody. But Ferrari were actually closer this year than they were last year. It's not all over already. And please, we've had it worse than this.
Max has won 21.
I know, I'm not saying he hasn't, but
Max has won 22 out of the last 25 Grand Prix.
Plus sprint races.
Max has won the past 36 out of 40.
Nice. Names on a postcard for the people that beat him: Sainz, Piastri, Perez,
Russell,
George. Yes.
Interesting. None of that is Lewis Hamilton or Charles Leclerc.
Yes.
Interesting, isn't it? Still, news about Verstappen possibly moving to Mercedes is just the latest in a long line. Anyway, we've been on here close to an hour, and we've got to wrap it.
Ben says, no, it is over. I know. I'm just holding out some hope that, because the first stint of the race, the first portion of the Grand Prix, I thought was really exciting. We had Russell up there making moves, Sainz, and then after the first round of pit stops, it just was drab after that.
Yeah, when the lights went out, that 100 meters before Max and Checo were out front, that was great racing. Great start from Russell. And I said,
before we got to the end of the pit lane.
Yeah, and then we got to the end of the pit lane, and it was one. I was like, oh, okay. I mean, Leclerc did try. I thought Leclerc might have had a go. As I said in commentary, Leclerc got a great run. He tried to go right around the outside of Max at turn 1. Max gave him just enough room. And then he was like, well, you could have just kept alongside and just run up the hill. DRS activated on lap 2 this year. He bowled it. And then Russell got him. I was like, oh, okay.
One final knot before we do wrap up the show, because you say we're touching an hour. Luke Browning in F3 getting a penalty after being run off the racetrack was an interesting one in the first race on Friday. Good for him, though, that he did come back to win on Saturday. But yeah, being run off the racetrack and being given a time penalty.
Wonder where I've heard that before.
Well done, stewards.
Max, Lewis. Yeah, it just seems familiar.
Hamilton and Rosberg never got a penalty. And also, that was another knot, was off the back of my F1 thing. 20 years in Bahrain, one memorable race in that time, the duel in the desert, Rosberg Hamilton. They've never been firework races. Not a single one of them has been a decent race, apart from maybe that one.
We're over an hour, so we may as well tick on a bit. Right, let's see if I can do 2004, Raikkonen's engine blew up. 2005, Alonso dominated in the hottest Grand Prix in history. 2006
Michael
season opener. Michael won, and Raikkonen blew up in qualifying by running over his rear wing. 2007.
Here we go. Alonso.
Hamilton. No. Who won in 07?
I think it was Alonso.
Raikkonen.
Or was it Raikkonen?
Yeah. 2008, Hamilton went over the back of Alonso. 2009, Toyota's first ever pole in Formula One. 2010, Bahrain.
Oh, on the long track,
yeah. Everyone got freaked out that Ayrton Senna was back because Bruno's eyes look just like Ayrton's with that helmet. 2011, Fireball, XL5. Didn't happen, of course. 2012, Rosberg running. No, was that 2013? Who won 2012? Vettel won. 2013, no, Maldonado spun. 2013, Rosberg committed Harry carrying through Alonso off the track, damaged his front wing, then threw Hamilton off the track. 2014, he goes a step further. That was a good race. Proved that F1 could work with the V6s. 2015, Vettel retired on the parade lap. 2016, Palmer flipped up, did he?
Who knows?
2017. Hamilton and Vettel battle. No, Hamilton and Vettel battle in 17. Vettel, 2018, Vettel and Bottas. 19, Leclerc leading, had a heartbreak. Vettel's tie, conversion 18, yeah. 19, Leclerc had a tie break. 20, I think we all know. And Fireball again, this time Roman. Shakir, Russell's pit stop, Perez's first win.
Yeah.
21, Hamilton and Verstappen. 22, Red Bull's double DNF and Ferrari taking a 1-2. 23, Red Bull's 1-2 again.
Half of it.
And 24,
what we saw.
Yeah, what we saw.
So back to my original point, there's been one good race. So let's not jump. No, it looks like it could produce good race. Again, did in F2 and always has in F2, I feel like, down the years, but just,
I still remember Rosberg being taken out in 05 at that race in the first year.
Just doesn't quite work for F1. But anyway.
Yes, that's it.
Off to Jeddah.
Off to Jeddah. Nothing will ever go wrong there, will it? Anyway. Taking a look at our upcoming schedule as well. Saturday, Grid Live pre-race as well. Sunday, Grid Live wrap-up. That's 90 minutes after the NASCAR Cup Series race at Phoenix. Monday, Grid Live Encore, recapping ARCA Xfinity races at Phoenix, F2 in Saudi Arabia as well, and the Indy NXT season opener and St. Pete. We'll also touch a bit on F1 Academy, but we'll also leave that for women in motorsports as well. Please do subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you for helping us reach the milestone. 950 plus subscribers now as well. I believe we're only 45 away from that magical 1,000 as well. Please do help us get to that special number. We all dream of it as well. 1,000 subscribers. We're almost there, and you can help us take us to the checkered flag as well on that road to 1,000. You can hit the bell icon to get notifications from when we go on air, and do visit gridranking.com and all of our social media platforms as well. You can take 5 minutes as well to invest in Grid Network through Patreon. Join Colin, Mark, Deshelle, Robin, David, and Matthew, who invest each month in the Grid Network as well. We encourage you to join these fine folk who keep us on the air. And once we hit $500 per month, we can start sending our team on track to cover more races and continue expanding our coverage. Link to all of that is in the video description. And if you want to do a one-time donation, you can click on the Buy Me a Coffee link and get your name on the board, and you can invest as much as you want and consider buying a specific on-air personality a cup of coffee, and they will thank you on the air. You can also support us as well by donating during our live streams through the super chat function as well. For Kobe Lambeth, he's over here. For Kobe Lambeth as well. For Matt White from Grid Endurance Performance Index, I'm Joshua Burge. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next time. Good night. Right, somebody get me a Strepsil.